All right, it's 4:15, so I think I'll bring the meeting to order. This is the Historic District Commission, Town of Fairfield. The date is March 14th, 2024. Notice of this hearing was published in the March 1st, 2024 edition of the Fairfield Citizen. We'll start by taking attendance. Mark Urbanus, Commissioner. Present, thank you.
Art's here.
Darren Raymond Locke, Commissioner.
Present.
Thank you. Rosina DeGron, Commissioner.
Present.
Thank you. George Court, Commissioner.
Present.
Jim Bohan, alternate Commissioner. I see Jim is here, but he's muted. He's present. And Maura, not sure how to pronounce your last name, Maura. Garrick. I see that she is present. Okay, thank you. Maura is a new alternate Commissioner. Welcome, Maura. And for alternates, we have one application, the fourth application for Rosina DeGron, who will be recusing herself. So Jim Bohan will be voting on that application. Otherwise, alternates will not be voting. First item on the agenda is John Corwin,
I will
968.
also not be voting on my own application.
Yeah, you're recusing yourself on your application, right? Is there another application you're going to recuse in?
I'm going to
on the-
recuse myself on 920 simply because
Oh,
the attorney
okay.
in town had asked me originally, so
Correct, copy that, okay. So Maura, you'll be voting on the last application for Montana. All right.
Okay.
First item on the agenda, John Corwin, 968 Harbor Road in Southport for property located at 968 Harbor Road in Southport for a replace existing shed with a new garage. Is there someone here to represent John Corwin? I don't see John in the audience. Okay, we'll come back to him at the end. Next item on the agenda is 163 Harbor Road, LLC. 163 Harbor Road in Southport for property located at 163 Harbor Road in Southport for A, lift existing house 5 feet. B, alterations and additions to existing house. C, decks. D, fences and enclosures. E, walks and patios. F, change driveway. G, AC equipment. H, generator. I, exterior lighting. J, vegetative screening. K, raised top of seawall 1 foot. And L, flood vents and mechanical vents.
Good
Here
afternoon,
representing
thanks.
160.
Yeah, Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Jack.
Yeah, Jack Franson here representing 163 Harbor Road. We're proposing alterations and additions as in the notice at the existing home at 163 Harbor Road. The structure is located at the southeast corner of Harbor Road and River Street and on the west side of the Mill River estuary. According to the guidebook, the Cape-style house was designed by William Henry Jackson. Jackson was a local Greenfield Hill architect who was known for his colonial revival homes, but also perhaps more so for his commercial and institutional buildings. Jackson designed, among others, the Campo branch of what used to be People's and is now the MT Bank in Westport, also the Bank of America in downtown Fairfield across from the public library and the Greenfield Hill Congregational Church House. The house was built 4 years before the creation of the Southport Historic District in 1962, and it was remodeled by Ben Baker in the 1990s. I'm not exactly sure what year it was. The property is located in the, and I'm going to jump to the survey here.
Oh, Jack, you're not actually showing anything right now. You're not sharing.
Okay, yeah, let me see if I can share. Okay, there we go. My screen now?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the survey, we are in the A12, AE12 flood zone. And on the very tip edge of the V14 zone, which is this light bluish line where my cursor is. Because the proposed work exceeds 50% of the value of the structure, the building department and zoning are going to deem it as a substantial improvement. And for that reason, on the recommendation of zoning staff, we're proposing to raise the house to have the first floor at elevation 15.86. Currently, it's at 10.86. The garage, of course, will remain at its current elevation, even though the roof is going up. The slab will stay at the current elevation. I believe it's 8.86 or something like that. It's common that the flood maps get revised every 10 years or so. So we do believe it's prudent to anticipate the next map revision by elevating the house to 15.86. This same AE12 zone currently affects 6 other structures on this side of Harbor Road. And it's likely several more structures will fall into the zone the next time the map is updated. But the other big reason is because I think it's very likely when the map gets revised that the V zone will get closer to the road. So not only will the elevations be raised up, but the homes will be impacted by the V zone, which is much more stringent regulations as to the way you build the house. So we do, like I said, believe that it's prudent to lift it up to 15.86. It's been quite a few years since they revised the map. The massing shows on this plan where we're adding either inside space or massing. And basically it's the addition of a second floor over the south wing of the house, which is this area here, and the addition of a shed dormer over the central wing of the house, and changes to the decking and stairs, which includes putting a deck on top of what is now a gabled roof over the dining room, which is this area in the rear. The site plan, let me shrink it down a little bit, illustrates the proposed changes to the driveway, the walks, also the location of mechanical equipment such as the generator here. There's a little enclosure for AC units here, and those all have to be elevated to elevation 13. The fencing is shown also, where you can see this dotted line. There are a couple posts at the south and a couple posts at the north entry, and then there's fencing going all the way down to the end of the property at the corner where it hits the Tide Mill Bridge, and there's a finial post there. The elevations. I'm going to skip over to the elevations that we're proposing. Illustrate the existing and proposed. You can see here's the existing home. And what we propose is this second story addition on the south wing, the shed dormer on the central wing. The garage slab stays where it is, but the garage roof goes up. And in the end elevation, same thing. In the back where you can see the property drops off about 6 feet in elevation, the stairs had to be changed just to get, from grade up to the deck versus what you see here. And then the rear, same thing. We're proposing wood slats on the undercarriage of the deck, on the air conditioning units, and vegetative screening on the generator. And we do have an element going around the back, which is a trellis, which I borrowed from Cameron Clark. It's open lattice run horizontally and held on brackets. And we do have something similar to that on the side entrance next to the garage. The materials schedule, let me just pull that out. The foundation will be stucco or brick, depending on where it's noted. The roof is cedar shingles. The siding is shown as 6-inch exposure clapboards, although we would probably like to change that to shingles. And we'd come back, we'd happily come back and apply for that. The trim and columns are cedar. The flashing is copper, as are the gutters and leaders. The windows are wood simulated divided light. The stoops and walkways and patio areas are bluestone and or gravel. The deck railings are cedar. The fences and enclosures are cedar. And the stone wall will match the existing. I believe on the survey it shows a bluestone coping, but we do not intend to do that. We want to just finish it off with fieldstone so it looks just like it does on top. The driveway is proposed to be oil and stone on asphalt with a steel edge. And then here's some context images. One is showing the front of the house as it exists. This picture below it is taken from probably right about the time, if you're walking past the Tide Mill, when you come around the corner and you can first see this house from the west side of the Tide Mill. This one is taken from the intersection, and this one is coming down the road just as you pass the house next door. And then this one is from quite a distance away from the east side of the Tide Mill Bridge. The approach that we took was to maintain the footprint of the original house due to the zoning constraints. And the same thing applies to the massing of the north end of the house. Again, due to the setback limitations, we respect the style and the original intent of the architect, Jackson. The house is colonial revival, and clearly Jackson was influenced at the time when he built it by the popularization of small colonial revival houses. Here's an example of one of his houses, which he practiced in Massachusetts. There was another guy in Wilton, Connecticut named Lyndon Eaton who did the same thing. He had books of plans of small Cape Cod and small, 3-bay houses that were for sale. You could buy plans and you could build from them. For example, Wills designed 2 homes on Cherry Lane in Greenfield Hill, and those homes were in walking distance from Jackson's house on Vernon Hill. And also Jackson built the Bullard House on Cherry Lane, so he was certainly very much aware of Royal Berry Wills. Both of these homes that are built on Cherry Lane and the one I'm showing you combine 2-story gables, massing with a 1.5-story cape roof line. We believe that our proposed massing is in character with both the style and the setting, as most all the other homes on the east side of Harbor Road are 2 stories. We took as inspiration from massing one of the homes in Will's monograph, which is this one here, which is a 3-bay gable parallel to the viewer or to the road. This is coming down Harbor Road a little bit farther up the street. Another context shot. This is what we're dealing with, and sort of one of the main, motivations for doing what we're doing is in terms of the elevation. That was just a few weeks ago. This just shows you kind of the kind of real estate that we're taking up with this house, which is basically the same amount that you see here. This is the existing house. We are squaring off the deck. We're not adding any footprint to this house. You can see the house next door, the one that's 2 houses up and 3 houses up. The only house that's maybe smaller is the one 4 houses up. And then once you get up farther up the hill, the homes get bigger. The second story addition that we're adding is just about the same size as this little garage across the street. So, you know, in the grand scheme of things, we don't think that it's too big for the property, or certainly for the street that it's on. We did develop some renderings. This is one showing the house from the front in 3D. And whoops, that's the wrong one. And this is the one from the Tide Mill Bridge looking south. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have. I think I covered everything. One thing that I didn't mention is we're not crazy about this large chimney, but the code would require this chimney to be this tall if it had a regular fireplace. So we may end up coming back to you for a lower chimney, which would actually be a fake chimney. But that's the chimney that's there now. There's a chimney on the house, and it's part of the architecture. So we do feel it should stay there in some form.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Art, do you have any questions?
Jack, not at this time. I will state it's appears to be a considerable improvement over past applications. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Art. Darren, questions?
No questions from me, thank you.
Thank you. Or Zena?
No questions from me.
I
Thank
think
you.
you're, okay, thank you. And George?
Hi, Jack. Good afternoon.
Hi.
I like your renderings. Do you have a rendering as you're coming down Harbor Road to see the house, the tide from the north? Because that's the concern that I have.
We only did these 2, George, and we did, you know, after you and I spoke a few weeks ago, I did try a variation on this massing, but it's only a 3-bay house. I mean, it's barely 30 feet wide, and it just looked choppy, and it looked really bad. I will go back to the elevation, which there we go.
Yeah.
So, you know, probably this half of the house is what you would see coming down the road.
Yeah, there's no way to break up that vertical, that side. I mean, I see it as just a very flat mass as you come down that street. That's the concern that I've had since we've talked before.
Yeah, I mean, the only argument I would have is it's only about 26 feet wide. I mean, it's not a very big piece of architecture.
But what's its height? What's the elevation? What's the gain in the elevation over the old house?
Okay, so we're raising it 5 feet,
No, at the peak.
and then we're basically adding the second floor. So we're going up about 13 feet from what's there now.
Yeah, I think
So you're going up to 5 feet to the first floor, and then you're going up the 8'6", which isn't there now, but there's already a roof and it's the same pitch roof.
Yeah, right.
The thing that works in our favor is this is the highest ground on the whole site.
Yep, yeah,
On the south side, that's elevation 12, I believe, right there.
yep.
So the big drop is in the back, and then it drops 4 feet towards the garage. So I think that's helping us a little bit here.
Okay. Well, those were my questions. So,
Thank you.
thanks, Jack. Thank you very much.
Thanks, George. Jim? You're on mute. You're still muted, Jim. You have to unmute yourself, Jim. We can't hear you.
For the people who can't seem to unmute, they could put something in chat if they wanted to and ask a question.
Maybe just move on from
Yeah.
Jim. He can join later, just to save time.
Yes. All right, Jim, I'm going to assume you don't have anything to say. And Maura, do you have any comments?
My only comment is I am brand new. There's clearly a lot of history here that I want to catch up before I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. You figured out how to unmute. That's great. All right. Jack, my question is, what do we end up with our ceiling heights on the second floor?
So the ceiling height on the second floor is 8'6", as it is on the first
Okay.
floor. So after flooring and sheetrock, it's probably about 8'4.5", something like that.
Okay. And you're saying 13 feet is essentially the height, the amount.
Yeah,
that
it would
the
be, I guess it would be
ridge
13.5.
will be raised from the existing.
Yeah, because you're going up 5 feet and then you're adding this floor, which is basically, 8'6", so it's 13.5 feet. And what we did do is we,
your subfloor.
yeah, the 9'3" is all,
Yeah.
is to the, is floor to floor. So the ceiling is minus, minus 9 inches. I think we're using LVL, so we're, subtracting 9 inches and getting to the 8'6".
Okay.
And I should say that we did put the rafters right down on the wall plate, so the rafters are not sitting on the deck of the attic. They're sitting, they're bird's mouthed into the plate of the second floor.
Right.
Okay.
Which
And
helped.
yeah, it gets a little lower.
And this pitch is the
What
same.
what did you?
Go ahead.
That pitch, okay. The side entry door, you said there was a lattice portico? in that
Yes,
overhang?
Cameron Clark did a lot of these. They were basically it's like a little roof, except it's not waterproof. It's just slats of wood that you would plant wisteria or clematis on. And that's what I'm proposing over the side door and over the fenestration on the southeast corner. And the other reason is because if I didn't do it that way, it would count as coverage. So, I mean, it could have been a covered roof, but for the
Oh.
coverage factor, which we don't have any coverage to play with. But it looks, they're very beautiful
do you
if
have
you've
a-
seen any of them.
Good plan.
Yeah, I was just curious if you had more of a detail of it, or a side view, or something that would.
We
I mean,
might-
what's the space between the lattice?
We might have a little sketch of that here somewhere. Hang on. I guess we didn't show a big detail of it, but it's basically, 1x4 with like a 3-inch space in between. Oh, here it
Okay, so
is.
it's,
Wait a
yeah, it's
minute.
literally like a
Yeah,
trellis.
yeah, here you go.
Okay.
I'm going to blow this up. There you go. If you can see that.
Yeah. Yep, I can see it. I didn't see anything on light fixtures.
They were in
but I
the
see them on the
exhibits,
house. I see some light fixtures.
Yeah, hang on one sec.
I don't think you have them listed in your,
I think I
application
went
either.
through the,
exterior lighting either.
let me see if I can get this back here. Here we go. Yeah, here's
Oh, right
here
there.
are
Thank you.
other
Okay.
exhibits. I forgot to show you the generator, which is the Generac depicted, the AC units. You won't see them because they're behind that screening. The light over the garage. These are the lanterns. And then this is the lamp
And the
that's
win-
on the gate posts. And then that's
And the
the
windows
hood
are-
vent. Go ahead.
Can you blow
What
that
kind of
up?
windows are you?
Sure.
What's the step light?
The step lights go on the gate posts on the driveway. So
Okay.
on the in and out portion of the driveway, they're on the sides of those posts.
They shine down?
Yes, so you won't see any lamp.
Okay.
And then
I
that's
do not have any
the
other questions, Jack.
flood
What
vents.
did
and
you
the-
say the windows were again? Are they Marvin
They're
or?
simulated divided lights with spacer bars, so they're all wood. We haven't chosen a company yet.
Manufacturer?
We
It
like
says Marvin on
probably
there.
Geldwin or Marvin, one of those. And then the hood vent would be copper. The fireplace vent would look like this. The flood vents are these here. And we usually recess those into the foundation a little bit.
Okay. Where's that fireplace vent going to be located?
It's on the, hang on one sec. This is where the kitchen vent is, Adam, and then the fireplace vent for the gas fireplaces here on the south elevation.
On the second floor?
Yeah. I think that's going to be the master suite, and there's a fireplace in there.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any other questions. We do have a few letters to read into the minutes. Darren, would you like to? do
Yep,
that?
let me just open them all up. Okay. All right. March 12th, 2024, members of the Fairfield Historic District Commission. Thank you to the commission for your continued diligence and service in maintaining the town's historic districts and properties. We are property owners at 144 Harbor Road, which is directly across the street from the subject application. We understand the need for the applicant to raise the structure to comply with flood mitigation requirements. We also understand the desire to increase the usefulness of the home. This most recent application has made many beneficial changes from the prior submissions. Thank you to the owner and commission for heeding the suggestions and observations provided as part of the prior meetings. It is an improvement from original submissions. However, one overarching concern remains: size and massing of the major addition. This concern is not new and is not adequately addressed at this point. The HDC should review the application to further identify potential revisions, which would allow the proposed structure to better align with the neighborhood and achieve, quote unquote, a historic fit for this smaller property. Below are some areas of consideration, yet we defer to the experience and professional expertise of the commission in proposing potential adjustments that are historically appropriate and architecturally achievable. Comparative aspects of the plans. The submitted plans do not appear to provide dimensions of the new third floor on the western elevation. The new plans also do not contain an illustration of the streetscape impact of the new taller addition to the neighboring properties. The exact height of the addition is difficult to ascertain. Prior submissions have provided this information, and it was useful in the evaluation of the project. Potential solution: provide information to allow the evaluation of the proposed structure and to create a streetscape comparison to the neighboring property at 187 Harbor Road to allow the commission and the public adequate information so all can evaluate implications that all will need to live with. Front elevation. Right side continues to have added massing that overwhelms the existing structure and immediate neighbors. An overlay of the proposed over the existing shows an entire roof mass which almost eclipses the existing right side of the structure. Per HDC guidelines, new additions should be more diminutive and defer to the existing structure. Rather, this new massing seems to entirely overwhelm the existing structure. Potential solutions: A, find ways to reduce or eliminate the height of the third floor so it is not so massive from the front view or the side neighboring 187 Harvard Road. B, determine if all architectural approaches have been used: engineered joists, steel joists, ceiling heights, etc. Are there any roof design elements that can be employed? C, can the height over the middle part of the proposed structure be increased to relocate some of the massing to the middle part of the house and rebalance down the proposed new third floor? Rear elevation. The new roof massing and dormer on the left for this elevation, as viewed from the water side, appears to overpower the existing structure and introduces a significant addition of massing to the structure from this vantage point. Potential solution: lowering of the height of the roof line on the proposed addition might be possible, which would serve to reduce the massing of the addition from the front, rear, and side elevations. Additionally, a lowering of the size of the new rear dormer may allow the dormer roofline angle to be reduced with a reduction in its massing. It simply may not be deemed appropriate to have 3 floors on this small property. These potential changes might be able to be done while maintaining the owner's desire for additional function. Thank you for listening and for your difficult work. Sincerely, John Wynn and Jan Carpenter, 144 Harbor Road, Southport. This one is from Alice Stokes, dated Tuesday, March 12th. Dear Adam, I have been copied on letters objecting to the Franzen version of 163 Harbor Road. It is obvious from these letters that the revision still has a number of objectionable aspects to which I concur. Therefore, I urge your commission to reject it. Sincerely, Alice Stokes, 37 Christmas Tree Lane, Southport, Connecticut. This one is dated March 14th, 2024. Members of the Historic District Commission, the Sasquatch Association for Southport Improvement, Inc. is respectfully requesting denial of the revised plans for renovation of 163 Harbor Road. The email from Cynthia Crawford provides a thorough description of those aspects of the revised application that are antithetical to the home designs along this part of Harbor Road, as well as the significant difference when viewed from across the harbor. We know there is opposition from several other neighbors as well. Thank you for your consideration of the Sasquatch Association's views. Yours sincerely, Laura Becker Lawler, President, Sasquatch Association. This one's from Graham Nix. Dear Historic District Commission, we live across the street at 160 Harbor Road and are writing again to express concern and opposition to the revised plans for 163 Harbor Road. We support the letters written by our neighbors, including John Wynn and Jan Carpenter and Cynthia and Michael Crawford. Thank you for your continued attention to the plans for 163 Harbor Road. Best, Catherine and Graham Nix, 160 Harbor Road, Southport, Connecticut. To the Historic District Commission, we greatly appreciate the excellent work of the Historic District Commission in maintaining the high standards of architectural aesthetics that the Village of Southport deserves. In addition, we are great admirers of the superb work of architect Jack Franzen. As residents of 204 Harbor Road, we feel that the revised application regarding 163 Harbor Road, while an improvement over previous designs, remains an issue for us as it does for our surrounding neighbors, particularly regarding the issues of size and massing of the major addition. We offer our support to the letters written by Jan Carpenter and John Wynn, Alana and Kyle Griswold, Catherine and Graham Nix, and Cynthia and Michael Crawford. Their letters have gone into more depth on the details that concern all of us. We agree with their perspectives and recommendations, and we are equally eager to further examination, clarification, and revision to this updated application. Because this property is set in such a prominent geographical position at the eastern entrance to Southport, it is essential that any changes to this property be appropriate and respectful to the historic character of our unique locale. With its high visibility, this property sets the tone for the village, and so it should also set and maintain the highest standard. Thank you very much again for your excellent work and for your consideration. Best wishes, Sean and Megan Kelly, 204 Harbor Road. Dear Adam and Historic District Commission, we live at 211 Harbor Road. We treasure our truly special historic district, our waterfront location adjacent to the Tide Mill, and our neighbors and their houses. We want to thank you again for what you all do to preserve Southport's historic district. As I mentioned before, I served on the HDC when we lived in Wilton, Connecticut, before moving to Southport Village in 2008. 163 Harbor Road, built in 1958, is an understated, charming house that rests graciously and harmoniously on its small but prominent lot at the beginning of Harbor Road in the historic district. Reviewing the most recent plans, while we notice a more cohesive design, these latest plans look similar to the previous plans. If this property were not in the historic district, we might not comment, but 163 Harbor Road is in Southport's historic district and on a small lot in probably the most exposed and prominent location in the HD. As you are aware, 163 Harbor Road is visible not only from Harbor Road, but from the harbor itself. But also from River Road. All four elevations are visible to people walking, bicycling, boating, or driving by, and to neighbors. If a new house of the proposed scale is built in the location as drawn, both the streetscape and waterscape will be significantly changed. We understand the need to lift the house, but in the plans, each of the four elevations are expanded and changed quite dramatically with new dormers, new windows and doors, porches, and an additional chimney and front door, etc. Looks like the footprint of the house is increased and the roof height raised in addition to the house being lifted. Appears a third floor is added. We oppose these plans because of increased mass, heights, and scale, and the subsequent change to the streetscape and waterscape. The changes on the waterfront and north elevation are particularly startling. The new portion of the house on the right side, if looking from Harbor Road, has an additional floor, and from the waterfront elevation, what looks like a third floor with double hung windows in the new shed dormer. Over the years, as you know, and in big part due to the HDC efforts, numerous homeowners in Southport's historic district have updated and renovated the interiors of their home and constructed or altered additions while preserving the scale and exterior of their houses as viewed from the street or waterfront. Most recently, the new owners of 221 Harbor Road, who are moving back here from California, and the new owners of 298 Harbor Road are doing just that. They are preserving their houses and honoring and respecting the historic district so many of us appreciate. The historic district is a huge part of why we all chose to live here. If it wasn't, there are plenty of other neighborhoods to live in. Thanks for your consideration. Best, Cynthia and Michael Crawford, 211 Harbor Road, Southport, Connecticut. And one more. Greeting to all members of the Historic District Commission, and thank you all for taking the time to preserve the historic nature of Southport. It has come to my attention that Bonnie Page has again submitted plans for the renovation of 163 Harbor Road. I have reviewed the proposed plans and still feel the house appears extremely massive for the odd-shaped lot at the beginning of Southport's historic district. The third floor actually seems like a fourth floor since the house is being elevated to avoid tidal flooding. The roof angles, when viewed from the bridge, certainly do not seem historic in any way. It appears to be a hodgepodge of roof lines. The view of the house from the river is massive, too large for that property. I don't feel there's anything resembling a historic house. Thank you for taking into consideration my concerns as the adjoining property owner. Bessie Bradley, 187 Harbor Road. Those are all of them.
All right, thank you. I did not receive any letters in favor of this application. Jack, would you like to respond to some of those comments, to those letters?
Yeah, I would just, obviously, a lot of people, have strong feelings about this, but I wish that they would put themselves in the shoes of my client a little bit more and also consider the likelihood of the flood zone changing. And what's, my rhetorical question would be, what's going to happen to the other 6 or 7 dwellings on this street when they are eventually remodeled? And we all know that they will be. And I want to also go back to the Google Earth image, which just to me, I just don't see the enormity of the addition on the second floor compared to what's already there on Harbor Road. I mean, you can just look at, if you're going on Google Earth, you can use the little measuring tape and you can measure out the barn across the street. You can measure out the house at 187. And there, these volumes are all very similar in size to what's being proposed here. There's no, obviously, once you embark on this course with the FEMA regs, you have no basement and all the mechanicals have to go somewhere. So a lot of that attic is going to be mechanicals, ductwork and HVAC, air handlers and such. So it's just the reality of what you have to do when you elevate a house. Also, I think somebody mentioned that there was a letter from the Griswolds, and I don't believe they wrote a letter this time. They've seen the plans and,
Yes,
but I don't-
there was not a letter from the Griswolds this
No,
time.
there was not a letter.
Also, we did not increase the footprint. We don't have any coverage to play with. We did square off the deck because, we took the slice off the back and added it to the south side. But I do have Bonnie Pages on this call. I don't know if she has anything she wants to add, but I think I covered it. And, I think I made the points that I wanted to. And I hope that you'll extend your good judgment and approve this application.
Okay. Bonnie, do you want to say a word or not?
No, I appreciate everyone's input, concern. But as Jack said, I hope they can see the other side of the street, so to speak. And I thank you, Jack, and thank you to the board for your time again on this project.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now I will give the public an opportunity to speak. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this application? Raise your hand or speak up. Would anyone like to speak or against this project, this application? Please speak up. Okay, hearing none, the hearing's closed. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Sean and Lenore Dweck, 776 Pequot Avenue, for property located at 776 Pequot Avenue in Southport for a new cedar fences.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sean Dweck.
There's some-
I'm the homeowner. So we've submitted some photographs. I do want to apologize to the board. We are new to town. We've been living here just for a couple of years, and there were some rotting fences up in the front of our house when we moved in, and was unaware that we needed to get approval Unfortunately, the fence person that we used, who kind of represented himself as having done many fences in the area, never told us that we needed to have certain specifications to be in the district. So, I apologize for that, but here we are now, trying to make the situation correct and comply with with the town requirements. So, basically, we want to put two short fences on the side of the entrance to the driveway that are depicted in the photograph that's part of the application. I assume you all have it there. If you want, I can share my screen.
Yes, can you please share
The-
your application materials with us?
Of course.
If you can, if not, I can do it for you.
So this is the original fence that we had put up, which we were unaware, as I said. So you'll see a straight line going across the fence on both sides. The cap on the top will not be here. It will end where that line ends there. And it would be the same on the other side. The fence that was up there now was a vinyl fence. We weren't aware that it needed to be, wood. So it would be replaced with wood cedar fence that would be painted white. We just thought it added a nice touch to the driveway and to also kind of give a little bit of privacy. This house is, as I'm sure you know, it's essentially on the corner, one house in from the corner of Westway and Pequot. And so there is a lot of foot traffic, particularly during the nice days, and a lot of dog walkers and whatnot. So it would provide just a little bit of, privacy to us. And we thought it just looked nice to fancy up the area a little bit. It is in line with many of the other fences that we've seen all along the Southport historic area. We've walked many of the blocks and seen, similar type fences. And then the area over here, this is the side of our house. So this is as I'll call it, the offending fence that we put up. It's a vinyl fence. And we propose to take that out and to replace it with cedar fencing that looks just like this. We would paint it white. Currently, the backyard it would be completely visible to anybody walking down the street. So we wanted to have the fence here for two reasons. Number one is just to provide, a little bit of privacy in the backyard, because anybody walking up and down Pequot, whether they're biking, walking, running, taking a dog out, could basically look right into the backyard. The second reason is we have two small dogs, and we like to let them out in the backyard and be able to run around a little bit. And without a fence, we wouldn't be able to do that. So that's really basically it. And then, of course, these are the dimensions of the fence. That's the overage that I'm going to end up having to pay for the mistake of my fencing man not telling me that we were in a historic district. I frankly am shocked that he didn't know that, but that's obviously not your problem. And then that's the drawing to scale. That's really pretty much it. Hopefully no one has any objection to it. I know a lot of neighbors that have passed by when we had the original fence put in loved it, and then came up to us and asked us why we took it down. And of course, we told them we needed to go through the town to do it the correct way.
Okay. Art, questions?
None, Adam. Thank you.
Darren, questions?
None for me, thank you.
And Rosina, questions?
No questions. Thank you.
George?
No questions. Thank you.
And Jim? Jim, you're still muted.
Might as well move on.
Okay, Maura, questions?
No questions.
Thank you. And I do not have any questions either. I did not receive any letters in favor of this application, and I did not receive any letters opposing this application. Would anyone in the public like to speak in favor of this application? Would anyone like to speak against this application? Okay. Not hearing anything. This hearing is closed. Thank you, Mr. Dweck.
Thank you very much. Two quick questions. Number one is, how will we
Sure.
find out whether it's approved or not approved?
We'll vote. We will vote at the end of the public hearing, and then, I mean, if you want to stick around and hear, you listen, you'll find out whether it was approved or denied. If not, it'll in a couple days. By Monday, you should have something in the mail.
Okay. And then the other question I have, and it's just in terms of the town, is I know, the whole purpose of the commission and wanting to keep the style of the neighborhood in line with, its character. Is there a particular reason that they won't allow vinyl fences, since they last a lot longer and look pretty much the same?
They don't. Over time, the commission has taken the stance that synthetic materials just don't weather the same way as wood does, and it's very obvious when when someone puts up a vinyl fence, you can tell that it's not a wood fence. Different. The same with clad windows or vinyl trim on a house or vinyl siding on a house. It all just doesn't weather the same way as wood does. Unfortunately, wood does require maintenance. You have to paint and stuff like that, but that's sort of the charm of it. And it gives it that historic value.
Got it.
That's
Understood.
I mean, every commission in the future, we may, the commission may decide that that synthetic materials have come far enough where they're appropriate. But at this point, that's the position that the commission has.
Understood. Okay. Thank you all for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, Rosina will be recusing herself, or presenting, I should say. So this is Rosina Negron, 952 Old Post Road in Fairfield, for property located at 952 Old Post Road in Fairfield, to replace stockade fence with a 4'6" tongue and grooved cedar fence.
I will be sharing. Give me 1 second. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
My name is Rosina Negron. I'm the owner of 952 Old Post Road, and I have an existing non-compliant fence of stockade. It is located right here, and my plan is just to replace it with a tongue and groove cedar fence. This is the existing fence. And this is the proposal. There will be a gate in there that is about 4 feet wide. The rest of the fence is basically the same width as it's existing. There is also hardware in here associated with the gate. And that is basically it. It's simple, straightforward. It's very similar to a fence that's down the street, and the scallop is fairly similar to a fence that is across the street. So if there's any questions, let me know.
Okay. Thank you. Art, questions?
None, thank you.
Thank you. Darren, questions?
None for me, thank you.
George, questions?
No questions. Thank you, Regina.
Thank you, George. Jim, questions? Jim, you're gonna have to figure out your audio because this isn't working. You're gonna have to call in or something. Okay, Maura, do you have any questions, Maura?
Yeah, Rosie, I just wanted to ask you, I went by today just to take a look. So this will be along the street, and I noticed that then 920 is right next door to you.
Yes.
Is there going to be a fence then dividing between those two properties, or is this is just going to end, and that's a kind of a TBD of what's going to happen between those two properties?
Basically, my fence is just that portion. The neighbors in 920 own the fence that runs through the properties. So I believe they
Okay.
will be presenting that later on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Maura. I do not have any questions, and I did not receive any letters in favor of this application. I did not receive any letters opposing the application. And would anyone from the public like to speak in favor of the application? Would anyone like to speak against the application? Okay, so the hearing's closed. Thank you, Rosina.
Thanks.
The next item on the agenda is Ali Young, 224 Old Post Road in Fairfield, for property located at 224 Old Post Road in Fairfield for A, in-ground pool and coping, B, patio and landing, C, steps from basement to patio with railing, D, steps from deck to patio with railing, E, perimeter fence, F, picket fence, and G, extend existing steps from drive to patio. For someone here to represent 224 Old Post Road.
Hello, everyone. Kelly McGovern here. I'm the Young's garden designer.
Right.
Can you hear me okay? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Should I pull up
Can you
my
share your screen with the
application? Yeah, me.
Yes, please.
Okay, one sec here. Share. Share. Can you see this now? Can you see my application okay?
No, not yet.
No? I have it up. Let's see. Choose what to share with WebEx. I want to share. Select a tab, Chrome tab, Window tab, entire screen. Entire screen, share. Click to share. Now you can see my screen probably.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
showing the WebEx.
Yeah, how's that? Did that pull up now?
That's better. Yep, just have to make it bigger.
There we go. Okay, so this is 224. I wish I could do this so I could also see you. Anyway, okay, this is 224 Old Post Road, which is down a couple houses off the corner of South Benson. And this is the back of the house. The owners that have purchased the house, the Youngs, they moved in a couple of years ago, right before COVID, I believe, and have two kids in the high schools, and they want to put a pool in here. And so this is what we're doing. This is the back of the house. This is the front of the house as if you're coming down the driveway. And we're going to propose a little gate here as part of the pool code compliance. This is the side of the house where currently there's these big steppers, we call them, and they're very rickety and very dangerous, as you can imagine. And so we want to redo those. This is the side of the house, as you look at the house on the right side, where we would propose a picket fence that's going to start off from this corner of the sunroom and go down and connect with the fence over here. And I'm going to talk to you about, right now there's a cedar universal style fence here, the solid tongue and groove one that's 6 feet tall. And that connects with this smaller picket fence that's about 3 feet tall. And we want to replace one section of the 3 foot with one section of the 6 foot so that it can meet at a juncture. And this is what we're proposing. They would like to put in a fiberglass pool. This is the smallest one that we could find that had what they wanted. They want a pool that has no deep end. So it's a consistent 4.5 feet, 4.5, 5 foot deep. It has steps on the side here, and because there's no walkout, it will need a pool ladder, a removable pool ladder, and that would go in right about here. And this is something that I think they will use every once in a while when maybe older people come and visit. Because this is within a setback of upland review setback, we cannot put the patio in cement, so we would put it in stone dust and compacted gravel, and we want to do a thermal bluestone patio. And the steps from the back of the house, let me go back up here and show you where these will be. Right here, we met with Matt from Planning and Zoning to get what we should use as a pool coping height. And he told us what that should be, and it's about a foot lower than this. And so we're going to have to cut into the grade here and make a level spot here for the pool and put 2 steps here. And this is an example of what they would look like: New England fieldstone mosaic with bluestone treads. And the steps that are going up the side, this is what I'm imagining. This is monolithic 6-inch thick bluestone pieces with a rock face edge, and you put them in on a gravel base and you just overlap them a little bit so that it holds together as a mass. It does not need a big footing. And we want to do a very simple railing like this one here along the side. I'll pull up my plan in a sec. This is more of the fence. This is what the picket fence would be across the front, a standard 2-inch square picket. And then on the back, there's these existing steps here. And because we're going to have to lower the grade a little bit, we're going to have to build in 2 steps here, 2 risers, and we would make them to match. And I'm going to try to source aged stone so that would blend nicely. That's that.
Are you moving your screen? Because we're seeing the back of your house in 2 chairs.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. You don't see my, Adam, could you pull it up?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I see that it says you're sharing your screen.
I'm not seeing anything.
Really? You didn't see any pictures that I just showed you?
No, ma'am.
Oh boy.
My screen says viewing Kelly McGovern's shared content, but the screen itself is blank.
Huh.
Welcome, Jim.
Okay, let me try again.
Sure, I can get it up. Hang on a sec.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry that I droned on and on about that then.
Ah, there it goes.
Oh, there's your app. There you go. That's
Okay.
You're on
So
my
that's-
screen.
that's
All right, that's there we go.
Tell me where you want to go.
Okay. All right, just start at the top there if you don't mind.
Much better.
Right, I'll try to quickly go through these now.
Really.
So there we go. That's great. Thank you very much. I don't know why I couldn't do this. Anyway, so here's the back of the house or the basement, and this is where we'll be cutting into the grade here. Matt wants us to have an 8.5 foot above sea level there, which means we have to add a couple of steps here. We want to push the pool out to here on this side because this is the sunny part. This is all shaded over here because of the house and the garage. This is the existing deck. These are the existing stairs. This is just grass right now. And this is where I want to put the monolithic bluestone steps that they would really hide, just tuck right into the grade with a very simple black wrought iron railing right here. The worry that we have from the neighbor here to the right, we've already spoke to them and I fully hear them, that this is a wet spot back here. So we have put in, all these Coltex. We're over engineering it just a little bit to hold more water. We're going to have a strip drain here because you see with the grade, all the water is going to go this way. So we want to catch all this water here. We'll put a yard drain here as well. So we don't want any water to go this way into this gentleman's yard. Let's see. Patio and landing. This is the patio that we would like to put in. Again, it would all be in stone dust and compacted gravel. This is the little landing that we want to put in between the existing deck steps and my monolithic steps. The steps here from the basement to the patio, they would have a very simple railing as well. I'll go through that in a second. The perimeter fence. So over here, can you just scroll just up a little bit, please, Adam, so I could see the back perimeter line. There we go. Thank you. There's an existing fence here, and there's a rickety blue deer fence here. So what we would like to do is put the 6-foot tongue and groove fence connecting from the garage this way and across the back, and it would connect to the existing 6-foot tongue and groove fence on this side. I think that makes sense. This is all the silt fence and hay bales that we would put in during construction. And then right here, these steps here, I think we're going to just wait and see. Maybe we'll only need one step, but when we do the grading, but if we have to add 2, we'll add 2 there. And this is where we will continue the fence here. Even though it will have an automatic cover, I have a feeling that rule in Connecticut is going to change and that people are going to want fences. The insurance companies are going to require fences around houses with pools. So we're just going to try to be preemptive and do that. If you don't mind scrolling up, Adam, I'll go through the details really quickly.
Scrolling which way? This one?
Yeah. This is the existing back that you can't really even see the back of the house from the street, except you can probably see where the pool's going to be slightly. Here we go. So this is these are the steps from the house to the basement out to the pool area. And I'm just want to make this railing as small and as inconspicuous as possible. And next, please. Thank you. And this is a side elevation of the monolithic steps and how they would go down. And this is where the deck is right now. You could see this will probably be in the ground and not in the step. I have to wait and see how they want to install it. This is your standard universal style tongue and groove fence. And then the standard picket that we would like to put across the front and the gates. I think that's about it. If you have any questions.
Where's the gate going? Fence and the gate.
Which one? Which one?
Fence here, the picket fence. The picket fence.
Right here. This is the picket fence right here along the front. So this is going to be the 6-foot cedar along the outside, and then the picket fence next there.
Gate. Where's the gate here on this along with this?
Right here. Right here.
I can't see your cursor, so.
Oh, I'm sorry. Off to the right of the sunroom. That's the gate I'm talking about.
Oh, here it is. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Right.
Thank you. Okay. Art, do you have any questions?
No, Adam.
Thank you. Darren, questions?
I'm not so sure that you can see this from the street. So is it a regulated activity?
Jared, I actually went out to the site and you can see some of it. So it's not like all of it's not visible, but it's definitely parts that are visible.
All right, so then we can only really weigh in on the parts that are visible.
Yeah, but they're all
Yeah,
sort of intertwined. I mean, most of it, it's like the deck and the pool are visible, the stairs visible. From here on the street, looking down the hill, you can see all this.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
So yeah, some of it, I don't know. Yep. Any other questions?
Not for me.
Okay. Rosina, questions?
No questions. Thank you.
And George?
No questions. Thank you.
Jim?
No questions. Thank you very much. Can you hear this?
Yes, sir.
yes, Jim,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
Welcome.
And Maura, questions?
So just a question, just from the standpoint that question, follow up of what you can see, because I looked at it too. Once that cedar fence goes up, it probably wouldn't be able to see a whole lot, would you?
Which cedar fence?
No,
Maura?
you wouldn't.
The
This one.
Well,
picket?
particularly the one that's, yeah, well, even the
Right.
one on the right side, because just the way, and the picket also, the combination probably hides most of it, right?
Yeah. My view is I don't think you'll see anything except maybe a little bit of the pool and the patio there, but no, not really.
Yeah, and I think
Okay,
once that
thank
cedar
you.
fence is up here on the corner of the house, I agree, you probably won't see anything, but it's not there today.
And
So
also don't forget where the pool is right now. It's going to be like a foot lower than what is existing because of what Matt and zoning wants to do for the height, the finished height of the coping.
Yeah,
okay.
I think you'd have to try really hard to see that once it goes down another foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can only, go by what's there today in terms of evaluating whether
Sure.
it's visible or not.
Yep,
Right. Okay.
thank you.
And I do not have any questions. And I did not receive any letters in favor of this application, or did I receive any letters opposing the application? Would anyone from the public like to speak in favor? Would anyone like to speak against? Okay. So the hearing's closed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is David and Tina Montani, 920 Old Post Road in Fairfield, property located at 920 Old Post Road in Fairfield for A, new fence, B, revised rear roof line at mudroom master, C, revised windows to previously approved kitchen master laundry, D, box bay window in first floor office, E, change front walkway from previously approved brick to bluestone. And Rosina will be recusing herself, and Maura will be voting on this application. Is there someone here to represent 920 Old Post Road?
Hello, everybody. Brian St. Pierre, Insight Design, here speaking on behalf of David and Tina Montani. I'm going to share my screen here. Can everybody see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, first item on the application is the fence along the property line. It's the north property line. If you can see my cursor here, starting at the front and going back to the rear of the house, separating us from the neighbor to the north of us. Before I jump into the detail of the fence, the fence that we're looking to mimic and match is existing along the back side of the property as it stands now. It's roughly about 20-25 feet of existing fence that the neighbor on the rear half of the property has already installed, and that fence actually goes across the back of the existing neighbor's property. So our intent is just to match that fence, bring it all the way down to the front to replace the existing stockade fence, which I apologize, we didn't have any pictures of the existing before it fell down during construction that we're doing. Let me show you the details of the fence. So this is the existing fence that's along the back side. There's roughly 3 panels that are roughly 8 feet wide along the existing back side of the Montani's property. Again, we are matching, this fence will start from this post and extend all the way down to the street. We've spoken with the neighbors. We've found the exact manufacturer that they are using, or that they did use, and we'll be using the same company for our fence. It's a tongue and groove fence. The panels are roughly 8 feet wide by 6 feet high, and we will be adding a topper to that fence, which is the classic Victorian framed topper that adds to the top to mimic the existing fence that's along the property now. I know one of the commissioners just asked regarding Rosina's application. The idea is obviously we would match, and that fence would be continuous, all the way along the property line and tie in nicely with the neighbors there. Number 2 is the rear roof. I'll show you here if I can. We had during construction, there was a structural beam that we had to add to the back portion of the house, which didn't allow us to bring it's this roof in question. This gable was approved in a previous application. However, it did extend out past these windows here in the master bedroom. The idea is we had to install a structural beam back at the gable end, so the space above the master bedroom was going to become unusable, and we decided, instead of having a big matching gable, to return the roof as a hip over that back little master bedroom area. And this is a side view. This is the driveway side view. Again, we were previously approved for the gable to go completely up, and we've decided to take some of the massing out of the building and hip that roof back, since it was space that we weren't going to be able to use in the attic area for any mechanicals or anything of that nature. While we're on this, there was also a question about a small second floor overhang, which is right here on the side of the building. Again, driveway side, front is over here. This is Old Post Road. This is the rear of the building. I'm going to take this one on the chin as a professional. I missed in a previous application with the second floor, and it was basically just a drafting error that the second floor did protrude over. It was on our survey showing that there was a second floor overhang. Again, it was a mistake on my part that wasn't portrayed in the numerous alterations that we made over the last 3 years. Windows. We had a couple changes to a couple of the windows. None of them are on the front of the building. Since we're here, we'll start on these. This window, again, driveway side. This window is over the over the kitchen sink where the kitchen is. We were previously approved for a single 3.6 by 4.0 awning window, which you'll see here on the left-hand side. We've in framing of the building, we noticed that there was a lack of sunshine, lack of light on this side, and the homeowners were looking to gain a little bit more light into that kitchen area. So we decided to change it or ask for permission to change to 3 2-foot by 4-foot casement windows. Windows will be the same Pella windows, Architect Series wood windows, same detail on the headings and same shutters as previously approved. Also on this side, we've added 2 windows to the master bedroom. These 2 windows up here are on either side of the bed. Again, just mainly looking for light into that area. This is a dark side of, the darker side of the house, being the north side. So any additional light we can get would be great. So it's again 2 double hungs. They're 2 6 by 4.0 each on either side of the bed on the 2nd floor. The other window that we had changed was on the rear of the building. This is in the office area on the back side of the house. We were previously approved for a French door here leading to a patio. The homeowners, since starting construction, have decided that the patio is no longer needed on that side. So we wanted to remove the existing French doors and replace them with a box window, mainly to get a window seat in the office and give some interest to the back of the house there, rather than just having a straight flat wall. I think that was it for windows. Oh, one other one. The windows in the family room. We've decided to eliminate the one window that we were previously approved for on the side of the fireplace on the 1st floor. You can see we removed it here. And also this window that was in the laundry bathroom area, we've since flipped to the other side of this chimney, to same window, just moved it from this location to that location. And again, like I said, nothing changes with the front elevation that we were previously approved for. The last item was number 5, changed the front walkway to a bluestone walkway. Adam, just for reference, we've decided to eliminate that from our application. We're going to stick with the previous approved brick walkway. And so again, no reason to vote on it or speak about it. We're going to eliminate number 5 from our application. And I think that's it. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
You're muted, Adam.
All right. Bart, do you have any questions?
No, Adam, thanks.
Thank you. Darren, questions?
I have a couple, and it might just be me being confused over what's been approved and what hasn't. Can you pull the plans back up,
Sure.
please? Thanks.
No problem. Okay.
Okay, so if we go, can you go back to the elevations? This one specifically. So let's start here. It looks like a bunch of and again, this might be me just getting confused over all the iterations coming before us and what was approved and what wasn't really to be reviewed last time, because the application was for specific things other than some of the things we noticed. But the roof lines here are significantly different. You have a cross gable on the proposed side elevation now. That wasn't previously approved, or was it?
That was previously approved back on the January application, which included the attic dormer. So
Okay.
that attic dormer and this gable that you see was approved
Okay.
originally. And I apologize, Darren. This gable went out further
Right.
So basically, you know, we cut back the
You've
last,
cut that and
you
made
know,
it a
let's say
cross gable.
4 or 5 feet of that gable that's there.
Yeah.
But this
Okay.
gable, this main gable was approved during the January application. I believe it was January.
Okay. And then did we see the front light that's hanging on the porch? Did that come before
Yes.
us? We did.
Yes,
Okay.
it did. That was
Sorry,
on the original
it's
application.
it's very confusing to me. So now on
Yeah,
this
I hear you.
elevation, there's a bump out, it looks like, right next to the chimney.
Yep.
And then
So that's the box. Yep, that's the box bay that we're going for in this application.
Okay.
We removed the French door that was there leading to you know, with steps leading
Got
down,
it.
as you can see
Okay.
on the old application.
Yeah.
And we're going for a box window there.
Okay, and then it looks like the window and the gable changed, and now there's like a hip roof and a dormer at the top.
Yep. So again, previous January application, this was the addition
Okay.
that was outside you know, that we required a variance for. So this side and roof line and window, I mean, we can talk about this window, but I thought it was approved, you know, with this
Okay.
this last one.
And that dormer too, the one that's jutting
And the
out
dormer,
right
yep.
behind.
Yeah,
Okay.
so basically this dormer, shed dormer, Darren, this gable that's
Mhm.
there, and the hip roof were all approved on the January application.
Okay. All right. Sorry. I know there were questions about what was on the January thing that we approved, and there were questions about windows, and it's just a little bit confusing. So those were all my questions. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks, Darren. George, questions?
Really, I have no questions, except that it looks like the chimneys moved slightly towards the side of the house, just to give you room for that window, or did it just sneak in there?
I think it just snuck in there. It may have narrowed, you know, a couple inches there, George. But yeah, no, it's the same chimney. It may have narrowed just a little bit.
Okay. Okay. No other
Looks
question.
thinner.
Yeah, it looks that something's not working, because it doesn't look like you could have gotten a window in the one on the left, and you got a window on the right. So, but
Jim, do you have any questions?
No questions, Adam. Thank you.
And Maura, questions?
Darren helped me understand how many iterations there have been here, but no questions.
Thank you. Can you keep the plans up for a second?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Can you scroll down to the north elevation? Yeah, so this jog out, this overhang is kind of odd. I'm finding. Is that why you needed a beam, because of that?
I did not need the beam because of that. No, we originally had the overhang because of the way the driveway goes. The driveway kind of, you know, heads back towards the house. Show you here on the site plan. But as I mentioned, you see this proposed second floor overhang, you know, originally was supposed to go all the way back. We decided not to do that. And the reason being is the driveway comes into the house, and we didn't want obviously the first floor to interfere with the driveway.
yeah, clearly.
Well, it adds to your coverage too.
The second floor. Yeah,
Could
so
extend it
we actually took away from the coverage that we were approved for, because it only goes back to this line here, that second floor.
Right. No, I understand.
So all of this is actually not there, that overhang.
So you couldn't extend it down to the foundation because of the driveway?
because of the driveway, correct.
Okay.
As you can see, I'm not sure if you can see my cursor here, but obviously the driveway comes like this and
Yeah.
we literally squeak right by.
Yeah, it's tight.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an odd look to have that corner cantilevered out there. Anyway, that's my only comment. I did not receive any letters opposing this application, did not receive any letters in favor of the application. And would anyone from the public like to speak in favor of the application? Would anyone from the public like to speak against the application? Okay, I'm hearing nothing. The hearing's closed. Thank you. And going back to John Corin, 968 Harbor Road in Southport. The property located at 968 Harbor Road in Southport, 4A, replace existing shed with new garage. I think I saw Mr. Corin here.
You're muted, Mr. Corin.
You're,
Sorry, I was on, but
there you go. Yep.
technologically challenged
Yep.
to get it all together. So, if I can,
You need me to?
share your screen. Adam?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you didn't hear me. I asked you to share your screen with the plan.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were trying to share. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I'm
Sure. Hang on one second. That. Too many things open here. Hang on. Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, can you walk us through it?
Sure. So
Just for the record, just state your name and.
John Quarry, reside at 968 Harbor Road, and I'm representing myself. I think we should recap a little bit of the previous applications on this property. So I think that we came in at first to wreck the shed, which is the little rectangle by the cursor, to raise that and to construct a new driveway, which circled around the big island in the middle and went through to the street by that rock wall. when we moved and we asked for permission to build a pool, remove the rock wall, and raise the shed. That was the first application. The second application came in to construct the driveway, which you see there now. And now we are asking to build a 3-car garage on the property. I think the next, yeah. So that's an aerial view of the garage. The garage is to mimic the house and its construction. It is a relatively small garage. And if we can, these are to scale. And basically, we wanted it to be in companion with the rest of the house. The materials are the same as on the house. I think the drawings are kind of self-explanatory. There's a French door on the side.
Would you like to add anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Art, do you have any questions?
No, thanks.
Okay. Darren, question?
Hi, Mr. Corin. It looks like on this picture you have some lights indicated. Are you coming back to get those approved, or do you have an idea of which lights you want to install?
I think those are the same lights that are on our house now.
Okay.
And that's.
Yeah, John, lighting is not part of your application. Unfortunately, you have to have a specific line item and show us a picture.
I got it.
Yeah, we're not going to.
No problem.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. That was all my questions.
Sure.
Rosina, questions?
Just for clarification, the windows are wood, the doors are wood as well?
Everything is wood.
Okay, thank you.
And George?
Yes, good afternoon, John. Question. On the old driveway, is that going away completely, or is that going to stay as a cut?
No, that's going away completely. We just use that for construction purposes.
I understand. Okay, I have no questions. It looks very nice, John. Thank you.
Thank you so much, George.
And Jim?
No questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. More questions?
Yeah, just to clarify, so the old driveway is the driveway that went in from the right?
Yes. Standing at the house looking at the harbor, that's correct. It went to the right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, the driveway was already approved last time you came in.
Yeah.
I don't have any questions, John. Just so you know that, yeah, that's just the lighting. You have to come back with like your
I will come back with
specific
the light.
pictures that you want.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. Great. I did not receive any letters in favor of this application, and I did not receive any letters opposing the application. Would anyone in the public like to speak in favor? Would anyone in the public like to speak against? Okay, so the hearing's closed. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we'll vote on these. Start with this application that we just heard. John Corin, 968 Harbor Road in Southport for property located at 968 Harbor Road in Southport for A, replace existing shed with a new garage. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted with the stipulation he comes back for lighting.
And I'll second.
I'll second.
Be my
George
guest.
seconds.
Each of Regina.
Darren first, second. Discussion?
Hmm.
Okay, all in favor? All opposed? Unopposed? Motion passes. Next item is 163 Harbor Road LLC, at 163 Harbor Road, Southport, for property located at 163 Harbor Road in Southport for A, lift existing house 5 feet, B, alterations and additions to existing house, C, decks, D, fences and enclosures, E, walks and patios, F, finished driveway, G, AC equipment, H, generator, I, exterior lighting, J, vegetative screening, K, raised top of wall, seawall 1 foot, and L, flood vents and mechanical vents. Can I get a motion, please?
Yeah, this is Art, Adam. I would move to approve items A through L as presented.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second just for discussion only.
Okay. Discussion?
I basically have a few concerns. The chimney in the center area looks very high. So I know Jack discussed about kind of coming back and maybe the chimney was lower and the clapboard maybe changing it to shingles. So those things to me feel that instead of them coming back, it might be better. I know we've been taking a long time kind of approving, like denying without prejudice and denying without prejudice, but every single time the design seems to be improving. So that chimney to me, it's very high. The other thing is the second floor. I know, Adam, you discussed this the last time, but the second floor, it's fairly high. If the proportions of that second floor can be lowered so that it's more in kind, that might be a little bit better of a design. I know it's not what the owner of the property might be envisioning for the interior spaces, but we are more concerned about the exterior and the proportions. So that's kind of my 2 cents on this one. And I also agree with one of the neighbors that wrote a letter that looking at the streetscape, and this should be something that every single property does, showing the property within the streetscape. So that's it.
I'm glad Rosina brought up the chimney. I was wondering how in my proposed motion, I was gonna suggest that, that item be, how do we handle that without prejudice? But I guess we'll discuss that here.
Yeah, you could make a stipulation that chimney is
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that,
denied
Adam. I
without
just
prejudice.
wanted to get a sense of what everyone thinks, and so I'm glad Rosina pointed that out. So I could, if depending on the outcome of the discussion, I would amend that.
Okay. George, do you have any comments? I know you were worried about the north elevation.
Yeah, I'm still, I think the mass on the right-hand side from the street is still kind of supporting what Regina's saying. I think it certainly overshadows the rest of the house, and is kind of out of compliance with, historic's, modification or home modification plans. So I think I still think it's more if there's a way of, I'm not an architect, but if there's a way of making it appear less massive, it would be an improvement.
Yeah, I'm not sure unless the only thing they could do is lower the roof, or you know what I mean, or dormer out, which I suggested, dormering out the second floor and not having a finished attic. And that would definitely reduce the height, because I think, what did Jack say? It's something like 13 plus feet they're raising the house. Like the ridge line would be like 13 feet higher ultimately.
Yeah, but
which is significant.
You got to give part of that for the elevation, just for the FEMA. But you could, I think.
Yeah, 5 feet for that.
One of the concerns was the place for air conditioning and air handling equipment, and you could use the attic of the garage for some of those utilities if that's a requirement. Again, I'm not an HVAC guy either, but there may be other solutions.
Even with a dormered out second floor, you could still have an attic space. It would just be very small.
Yeah, shallow.
Theoretically, you could find space to fit mechanicals.
Right.
I do think that the whole. I'm sorry.
Am I voting on this one, Adam? I've lost count.
No, you're not, Jim.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
You're voting on.
I voted on
Rosie. 1, 2, 3, the fourth application, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I do think like the overall design has improved dramatically, and it's definitely. I think if massing wasn't such a such an issue, especially with the neighbors, I think I'd be inclined to approve it. But and I still think, like, even when you drive down Harbor Road and you look to the right as you're driving down, you can't see the Tide Mill Bridge through the house. So it's not like by raising it 13 feet, you're obstructing any views. It's
Right.
just creating a little bit more massing, and it is sort of, or definitely it's more on that northern side, and it tapers off as you go down towards the Tide Mill Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I'm not, I'm sort of, I'm not sure, how much of an impact reducing it 10 feet would be, or how many feet can you actually reduce it from what their proposed is? Probably a few, maybe 3, 4, 5 feet max is what you're going to end up getting. And what's the trade-off is they're going to lose a lot of space on that third floor, which is, I guess to the property owners, right, they're sort of entitled to have that space if they can get it.
Yep.
Makes that property more valuable. See, I'm going to share. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, so like this is as coming down Harbor Road. This is it'll be up here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not like obstructing the view of the Tide Mill Bridge at this point,
No.
you know? I don't know, come down to this point. So, I mean, I'm not sure, I guess it's easy for people to, you know, look at it in 2 dimensions and say, oh, the massing's huge. But the reality is the impact isn't, you know, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to be as significant as people think in terms of the gateway and how it affects this corner of the historic district. It might affect somebody's view a little bit, but anything's going to affect the view of the neighbor's, you know, the neighbor's house.
Goes with the territory.
Anything you do, it's going to affect it. So,
Yeah, dormering out is interesting.
anyone else have any more comments? Any other comments? Art, do you want to revise amend your motion? Or keep it as it is?
If you don't mind, Adam, could you recite the item that contains the chimney?
I don't think it's listed.
I don't think it's specifically
It's
listed.
it's not listed.
No, it's not. It says, I think it would fall under alterations and additions to existing house, an existing chimney that's being altered. So I think you have to specifically
Which item is
say-
that?
B.
Okay.
B.
Item B is alterations and additions to existing house.
So I amend the motion to approve all items as presented, but with regard to item B, the chimney on the front dormer is exempted from approval.
Rosina, do you
Without
second that?
with add the words without prejudice. So
Okay.
I'll restate that as saying the motion approves all items as presented, with the exception of item B, semicolon, the front chimney on the front dormer is not approved without prejudice.
Okay. You second that amendment, Rosina?
I'll let someone else second that one.
Okay, then we need a second for the amended motion.
Or I'll second it and we'll just vote. So I'll second.
Okay. Second. Okay. We're ready to vote. Okay, all in favor of the motion to approve A through L with the stipulation that B, the existing chimney is not approved without prejudice. All in favor? All opposed? The motion fails. 3-1. Adam and Art voted in favor. George, Rosina, and Darren voted against. Okay, then we need another motion on the table, please.
I'll make the motion to deny without prejudice item A through L.
Denied without prejudice. And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Darren seconds. Do we need more discussion? Okay, let's vote on this then. All in favor? All opposed? And motion passes 3-2. George, Darren, and Rosita in favor. Okay, moving on. John and Lenore Dweck, 776 Peapod Avenue in Southport for property located at 776 Peapod Avenue in Southport for A, new cedar fences. Can we get a motion, please?
I'd make a motion to approve as submitted.
I'll second.
Okay, Darren seconds. Discussion? I'm not sure about the two panels in the front, to be honest. On either side of the driveway. If they wanted to put like a picket fence across there, you know, that looked like it ran around the property or whatever, that would be fine. But these are these weird, which I've never seen. I don't think I've seen them in Southport. Is anyone else?
Can't say I have.
I'm fine with the other cedar fences, but I think I don't even know what you call them, panels. They're the two panels left and right of the driveway seem out of place. And okay.
Okay, then.
Any other discussion? Okay, then we're ready to take a vote. All in favor of the motion to approve the new cedar fences? All opposed? Where'd you get the balloons from, George?
I'm sorry? I'm not sure how that.
Yeah, balloons came up in here.
I'm not sure how that
The
happened.
motion passes. It's like a celebration. Motion passes 4-1. George, Darren, Art, and Rosina were for the motion, and I was against. Next item, Rosina is recusing herself, and Jim Bohan is voting. It's Rosina Ron, 952 Old Post Road in Fairfield for property located at 952 Old Post Road in Fairfield. To A, replace stockade fence with a 4'6" tongue and groove cedar fence. We get a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve as submitted.
And I'll second.
2 seconds?
Yep.
Jim.
So you,
Yes.
Jim seconds. Discussion? No discussion? Well, let's take a vote then. All in favor?
Yep.
All opposed? None opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is Ellie Young, 224 Old Post Road in Fairfield for property located at 224 Old Post Road in Fairfield. For A, in-ground pool and coping, B, patio and landing, C, steps from basement to patio with railing, D, steps from deck to patio with railing, E, perimeter fence, F, picket fence, and G, extend existing steps from drive to patio. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make the motion to approve A through G as presented.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Rosina. George seconds. Discussion?
I'm a bit confused
So
about
in
this
the-
application because, oh, sorry,
Okay.
Rosina, you go ahead.
So in theory, basically this application, if they will had come for a fence, that's all we needed to review.
Yeah, probably.
So
Yeah.
in,
Yeah,
in
pretty
theory,
solid.
if we approve the fence, there's nothing else to review. So that's just
well,
I'm concerned about
you
this
know.
application for that reason, because I don't want to vote on things that technically are not regulated activities because of that fence. It puts us outside of jurisdiction.
But if the fence wasn't there.
But they're coming for the
fence
fence.
isn't there now.
But it's-
I know, but the fence isn't there now, and you know.
But
I think
even
we're
then,
splitting
not
hairs
all
here.
of
I
it is
think,
viewable from the street, only a certain bit of it.
No.
So
I think it's still under our purview. I mean, if some of it is, you know, we have to vote on that, you know, most of it is in our purview, and some of it extends. Oops, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
I think my earphones just
We hear you.
We can hear you.
okay. Going on my phone. So no, it's a tough situation. I mean, you know, I have to, if it's visible, when I went out there to see if it was visible, I thought it was visible.
Yeah.
Most of it was visible. You know, how am I supposed to parse it apart so that they only come to us for the sections that are visible? That's where I stand. I mean, I feel like I had to bring the application in front of the commission.
Mm-hmm.
Any other discussion? Okay. You ready to vote? Can you hear me? I feel like.
We can hear you.
You're fine.
Okay. Feel like I'm having a discussion with myself.
We
Okay.
hear you.
All in favor? All opposed? All abstained? Darren's abstaining, okay. Thank you. The motion passes. 4-1. The last item on the agenda, and Rosina is recusing herself, so Mona, you'll be voting on this one. David and Tina Montani,
I need
920
Maura,
Post Road.
right?
Oh, I'm sorry, what did I say?
Mona, Mora. Just want to make sure
I
I'm
got you,
voting for in the right name.
Yes,
It's a long night.
sorry, yeah.
It's only
Maura.
6:15.
Don't
I have
jinx
to
us.
keep
It's
your
not as
name
long as
in
it
front of
could
me
be.
so I know how to pronounce people's names. Otherwise I forget. My apologies. Okay, David and Tina Montani, 920 Old Post Road in Fairfield, for property located at 920 Old Post Road in Fairfield. A, new fence. B, revised rear roof line at mudroom and master. C, revised windows to previously approved kitchen, master, laundry. D, box bay window and first floor office. And we are not going to vote on E for changing the front walkway. Can I get a motion, please?
Well, Art will move to approve all items as presented.
Thank you, Art. Can I get a second?
I'll second it.
Seconds. Discussion?
I'm just gonna add that I didn't love, that bump out that you mentioned, Adam, on that side, but I don't know how you get around that with the driveway. But other than that, I think I have to abstain, even though I'm voting, because this is so complicated and there's so many revisions to it. So unless you guys tell me otherwise, I think that's the best thing for me to do on this one.
I'm just
Yeah, fair
asking
enough.
more, why would you abstain as opposed to an up or down vote?
Well, because I really I don't feel like, I don't have all the discussions of the dormers that were brought out, the roof lines that were brought out. I'm looking at it from now, just kind of a lot of it I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at the pictures with an awful lot of roof lines and an awful lot of cutouts and an awful lot of lights and an awful lot of walkways and pavers that, yes, I know it's brick versus something, but, or it's the roof line was brought in, but I don't have the benefit of the coverage issues or the windows or anything like that. So if this gets approved, I'm approving it kind of like what Darren was just saying. She doesn't want to approve a pool if she doesn't feel like it's in her purview. I'm saying I'd be giving a thumbs up, but I'm really not educated to what I'm giving a thumbs up to.
Okay, thank you.
Fair enough. Thank you.
I still am just very confused over this application. There's been so many iterations in the last couple of times the last time it came before us, there were things on the plans that hadn't been approved, which made them come back. And one of the things that I think causes me a lot of difficulty is the hand-drawn nature of some of these plans. Because like George pulled out, for example, the chimney looks different from one side to the next, from what was proposed versus what has been approved. It looks skinnier. Is that just a figment of the hand drawing, or is that an actual change? I think that's problematic. I don't know how to treat that little side bump out. I don't think it's fitting with the character. I just have a lot of concerns over what I'm seeing and what's a figment of the drawings versus what is actually there. It would be really helpful to have a site visit and actually walk around the property and see it in person. Because like I drove past it, but I don't go on the property because it's trespassing, and I don't want to do that.
You're allowed to go
I
on the
agree with
property.
that because I saw that window was slid in between the chimney and the line, and it was almost impossible to see how it would have fit in there before. So is that a change in the chimney, a change in the wall? It's hard to tell.
The chimney is definitely smaller, it's thinner.
Yeah, it looks narrower.
So wasn't approved. So
Yeah.
I really think a site visit would help us all. But I'll speak just from my point of view. It would really help me to really understand and be able to ask appropriate questions with the plans in front of me, looking at what is physically there and has been kind of realized in some sort of physical form.
I think you're right, because this has come up. This property has been come up a few times, and what's been approved and now what's being re-requested is kind of a little vague. So I think maybe a site visit is a great idea, Adam.
Okay. We can do that.
It would definitely help me. It would help me coming up to speed. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Adam, given the sentiment of the commissioners, as the moving party, I'm going to propose an amended motion to deny all items without prejudice.
Okay.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. Okay. Yes, I mean, we can definitely, you can, as commissioners, you can go out there and visit the site and go check it out. Do we need to have a formal, meeting with all the commissioners, or?
It would just help to have a meeting with either with the architect or somebody to walk through the plans and go elevation by elevation with the plans, so that it's easier to understand what is a figment of the drawings versus what is actually there, what is proposed versus what has been built, all of that. I think just for me, it would make me a lot more comfortable weighing in on this application, because there has been numerous iterations, some of which have not had all the parts that have changed presented for approval.
Yeah.
That's just my personal sentiment.
Darren, I think what's
I-
been approved and then what's proposed is kind of the comparison that we need to get to.
Yeah.
And versus what is there? That's the other
Yeah.
question, because that was the issue last time, is that we had approved, proposed, and then what was physically there. There were three different things out there. So
Modified.
right, and I just want to make sure that, you know, the Montanis don't have to keep coming back to us with all these changes, and we just like look at what's there, have that discussion, and then they're more prepared to come before us, and we're more prepared to understand what's being presented to us.
Yep.
That's my personal opinion. I don't want to make this overly laborious for anybody, and this is the umpteenth time they've come to us.
I agree with
Yeah,
Darren. I think that would be really efficient.
You know, they had a stop work order, you know, for like a couple of weeks. They were shut down because of this.
Right.
And I don't intend to do that again because I think they're trying to, you know, rectify the situation. But at the same time, you're right. There are still inconsistencies in the drawing. I mean, you're right. The chimney. It's like they're putting this new window in there, but they didn't mention the chimney, and that's changing.
So if we could organize some sort of site visit, notice it, whatever, so that we can all be there together so that they have the benefit of all of our feedback. Or more than two commissioners can be there at a time. And so they have the benefit of all of our feedback at once. That would be great. If not, I understand, but I just think, you know, again, I don't want to have them stop ordered consistently just because we're seeing inconsistencies in the drawings.
Yeah, I think we can do a site visit with two commissioners at a time and avoid the noticing part because it just takes too much time to notice it. You know, it takes it's a pain. And I've been there. I already know the property, so I don't have to necessarily go. But you guys can go and visit the site and get a sense of what's going on. All right. So let's vote on the motion on the table, which is denial without prejudice. A through D. All in favor? All opposed? None opposed? The motion passes. Okay, we'll move on to next one is we have to approve minutes from the February meeting.
I move to approve.
I'll second.
2 seconds.
Me?
George second. Darren?
No, Darren.
Okay.
Darren, I'm voting.
You're voting. Hang on.
George is all ready. He's here with balloons.
Keep that hand up, George.
Darren. All in favor? All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Chairman's
By the way,
reports,
welcome, Laura.
repairs.
Thank you.
We have
Appreciate it.
Harbor Road, replacing decks, railings, and pickets in kind. Depot Yacht Club, 659 Harbor Road, to replace 8 columns and 2 French doors in kind. Had no violations this month. The old business, I think I reached out to Mary Dunn at the SHPO regarding the grant. And she's surprised that we haven't received anything from them regarding that, but she did say we can move forward. And any expenses that have been incurred since, you know, December, I think 6th or whatever it was, would be covered. So I reached back out to the town to let them know that and to find out if it seems like we don't need to go through the whole public bidding sort of thing. We can get because of the value, because of the threshold of the amount, it's so little.
What did we ask for? What did we get? 10? 15?
15.
Okay.
That's what they're telling me. The town's telling me that it's such a small amount that it doesn't fall under the requirements that other grants might, in terms of soliciting bids. So,
I don't know that that's true because it's a state grant. They usually make you do an RFP. Regardless, I would solicit at least 3 bids.
Yes, but it doesn't have to be like as formal as perhaps a bigger grant. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
I would
I'm
still
like
solicit
looking into
3
it. I've asked the question, so I'm finding out whether how formal it needs to be, if we have to do, you know, an RP or a formal RP, or if we can just solicit. I think they're telling me we could just solicit, you know, 3 qualified bidders and
Great,
go from there.
great.
Hopefully that's the case. It would make things a little easier. Other than that, I told you your house received endorsement from planning and zoning. I think that's all we need. I do have a question for Rosina though. When you did the church, you know, Timothy's, you had to get RTM approval, which I don't see
Correct.
anything in the general statute that says we need to do that.
Well, you do it, that's the last step. It has to be read by RTM twice. Once
does? Where does it
before,
say-
then they ballot me and my husband. We will submit an affirmative. Yes, we actually want this. And then they read it again and then it passes.
Yeah.
RTM has to do that.
Yes.
And it needs to update the ordinance. So,
Yeah, and I wrote a new ordinance.
Okay. So so the next step is RTM approval.
Well, no, we have to wait for hold on. I don't know. You have to ask
wait
Andy.
for
You have to
65
wait
days
for
or
SHPO to respond because that's the double step. Daddy's here. He's in the kitchen.
Didn't they respond already?
No, SHPO
I
has
mean, they
not
just have to
responded.
say, okay.
They
well,
have
what,
90 days
60
to respond, or 80 days, sorry.
I think it's like more like 65 days, but
Or maybe
yeah,
it's
there's a
60.
minimum.
Yeah,
So
so
we have to wait for them to respond. And then we
really
can do it.
what, so what should have happened is that it got sent to us, you guys review it. Then you say, yes, we're happy with this. Then it gets sent to P&Z and SHPO. And then it comes back, we submit it to RTM, or you, because I have to abstain, right? I have to recuse myself. It goes to RTM, they read it, my husband and I get balloted, then RTM reads it again, and then it gets approved, in theory.
correct.
Okay.
So this commission really needs to see it as well. Because if there's any
Yeah,
edits,
well, get approved by the commission at some point, has to go through public
it should,
notice. And
it should have gone to the commission before going to P&Z and SHPO.
that's not the way that the general stats read.
That's the way the
Connecticut
local
statute?
district handbook reads, though.
Okay. Where do I
That's
find
how we
that? 'Cause
did
I've
the
been
church.
trying to figure out how the process, and the general statutes should say that you, you know, the historic district commission does the report, and then it has to go to SHPO and planning and zoning to get approval, and then it says that all you have to do is notice it, and of course you're the homeowner, so I don't think we need to, like, you know.
Yeah, they still have to ballot us, and like, if I did it without Andy knowing, and Andy got mad at me, which he wouldn't, he will say yes. That's why we get balloted, because each homeowner of record. So if there were like 3 people on our deed, let's say my dad was on our deed with us for some reason, he would get balloted too. We'd all have to say okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Rosina's done this before, I have not, so.
No, that's fine.
Well-
It's fine with me. I mean, I want to pursue the designation regardless of how long it takes.
Okay,
So,
very good. And then that
That's
other
fine.
property you were talking about? The
oh, on
gentleman, I guess-
South Pine Creek.
South-
Jim
South Pine
Jim
Creek,
Sullivan's
was
property.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's definitely interested in doing the designation.
So someone has to write the report.
We have to write a report, but he has to come to the commission first and say himself that he's interested in having his property considered to be for local designation, and he has to explain why. So I would
So does
recuse
that
myself on this one.
Okay.
Because he
Does that need to
potentially
be
wants me to
noticed?
it would
Does that
have
need
to
be
be
noticed?
Yeah. It would be, no, it would be listed how we listed it when I first came to the commission and said, I'm interested in listing my property. It would just, he would come on and say, you notice it as,
Would it be after the
discussion
public
with-
hearing?
And you
yeah,
item,
public, it just has to be on a public hearing, but really, like, the neighbors could object, I guess, but they're not stakeholders, so there's nothing, he's not in a
Right, yeah, no.
district, it's his own property, it's his right to do whatever with his house. And so his neighbors wouldn't be balloted, only he would be balloted. And whoever else is on record, but I think he and his wife are on record, and his wife passed away a few years ago, so it's just him.
Okay.
So he would have to come before the commission and say, I'm interested in doing, registering my house. This is the history. This is what's still here. This is what's extant. This is why I feel it's important. And then we give
Which-
him the okay.
Which he's already emailed me, like, requesting. Is that
Yeah,
count as
but-
him?
I think the HDC in total should hear it first before he goes through the motion of writing a study report, because if many of the commissioners have issues with it going forward, it's not going to pass HDC vote. And we want to make sure it's something we can stand behind before it goes to SHPO and or P&Z and or RTM, I think. That would be my personal recommendation. And that's
Okay.
how it's been done in other municipalities when I've had to write them.
Okay.
What's the property there?
I can't remember the address off the top of my head. It's on South Pine Creek Road.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, I'm sure we'll have further discussion about this.
Yeah.
So help figuring it out. Okay. Any other business anyone would like to bring up before we adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. I beat you, George.
I don't know if you
Darren.
folks can hear me.